So the Maim is talking about the three levels in Keser, Arich. That was basically the Gila of the time of the Mishkan. And he explained the difference, the effect on the world then, when Hashem is imposing his will, as it were. So therefore it's extraneous to the world itself. The world is pummeled into submission, as it were. We gave all kinds of mishalim, but it's worth hearing the shiurim, mishalim in chinuch, mishalim, I wouldn't say so much mishalim, but illustrations of this in chinuch. A mashal is not an illustration, it's a dogma, dogmois, that's the word. In chinuch, dogmois, and what's happening in the world today in terms of the Rebbe's message of shlichus, the former world, Bavitch, the different stages. So the first stage is Moishe Rabbeinu, that's thinking of Arich, that's Tzaddik. Then there's a level of Yosher, that's Shleim HaMelech, that's already Atik. And that causes a changes from within, but still not ultimate. The ultimate is Chosid v'Chasidecha Yivachucha, because that's the Gilia Etzem Mamash Pnimius Atik. And then it's completely organic to the degree. The Gilia Likus in the world is organic mitzad nature itself, to the degree that nature doesn't have to come even. You don't have to come even to see it, not even drawn to it. Because there's an emptiness you feel in your place, and over there there's light. That was Malcha Shva. She heard. Shleima Melech, and she came, and she was Nizbarer Take. But the bitter is not ultimate, because she still remained who she was, inspired. She was inspired, but she didn't become the Metzias that expresses Elikus. And the raya is that in her place, it didn't happen. She had to come to Yerushalayim and there to experience Shleima's Chochmah and Gila Likus and so on. So we started now the connections to Yitis Kislev and then Chanukah, that the Rashab said that the Ikir Hafatas HaMayonas began after Yitis Kislev, and he brought the mashal of Shemen, and Maimah Chazal, that the Shemen only produces its oil when squeezed, when pressed. So too the whole story of Yitis Kislev brought out the Shemen level of Torah, Pnimius Atik, and the Shemen level of the Neshama, and explained that Shemen, why the marshal, or not a marshal, why does it manifest? Maybe this is a bit of a marshal, but why does it manifest in unit of oil? Because Shemen exhibits the properties of Etzem, the paradoxical, but that one Nakuda property. They're not bound to any tzir, but it is the essence of everything. So oil doesn't mix with liquids, but it permeates every solid. And that's the nature of Etzem. It's not defined by any tzir, but every tzir is nothing other than the Etzem. Again, the Moshel Gashmi is the atom. The atom is not limited to being in any particular construct. It can be in endless constructs, gases, solid, liquids, etc. On the other hand, every mitzias, every tzir is nothing other than atom. That's the unit of Etzem. It's not a level, it's the essence, and it's therefore the essence of every level, equally, not more, not closer to a higher level or further from a lower level of manifestation. And that was the whole beer of Inyan Shatteres Achsidus, which is referenced in this Maimah, which the Rebbe said that year. He just kissed the Toshin Chavov. Again, a watermark, not watermark, a watershed Sicher, Kuntres. So likewise Chanukah, Yud Beis. Well, that is a Gili, the Chanukah, Befrata Gili, the Neiros Chanash, we did this.
Yeah, we learned till the end of the ice.
I can't hear what you're saying, but I think we're at Ice Yud Gimel.
Yes.
What?
What is that?
Yeah, okay. So Neiros Chanukah over Neiros Mikdash. The Neiros Mikdash, like Shleima Melech, that was Shleima Melech had Misa Mikdash. So they illuminated and attracted, but the oil was there. because it's oil. So if it's oil, it's limited with a particular tzir. And the tzir is the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, but not beyond that. But the Chiddush of the Chanukah Menorah, Pnim Yisatik, that it's pale in the chutzah at every place and every time. Shu atzmai nimtza gam lemata. The menorah is placed mamash on the outside. And moreover, that in the face of Pnim Yisatik, there is no higher and lower. It's etzem. Because as he concludes the end of Yisud Beis, let's look at the last two lines again. For the number 75, Ki al dei agilium, the Pnim Yisatik nirgash. When Pnim Yisatik is revealed, nirgash, the sense, the felt. It's not a seicheldike thing. It's the etzem. God is. It's not an experience to be defined. It's always the language of. So this is always nirgash when it comes to these inyanim. It's the sense, meaning the sense is that it permeates the experience. And what's the experience? V'chol davar of everything shametzius shalei guf alikus, that his very metzius and all the properties that he has is all alikus. I'm just going to point out again, because not to be misinterpreted to saying that Welt is a likus. It's a creation, not to be worshipped. It's Ein ve'efes, but it's mitzius, means every property and its whole being and why it's there, and every property of its being is a likus. That was the word of the Barashab quoted earlier in this Maimon and the previous Maimon, the Motzeh Chassid, that is Koichas Elikiyim, Koichas Tivim, Nasim Koichas Elikiyim, which means that he views his body and his whole soul as the expression of the divine. He has 10 koichas, he has a taryag evadim, everything. It's all just the expression. Again, it's not God, but the expression of elikus. Elikus. I say that because, right, it's a very thin line, but a very critical line. It can lead to wrong conclusions. Lahavdalah in Buddhism, everything is God. It just is. It's there's no creation. In Torah, Chas v'Shalom, that's Avodah Zarah, the ultimate Avodah Zarah. There's a creation, and the creation is bottle v'mitzius ein v'efes. It's mitzius as a likus. Okay, Yud Gimel. Excuse me. Zeo Shadar Chanukah Misanichel Pesach Mechutzi now concludes that therefore the mitzvah is to put it on the outside. The Reshus Harabim dafka to the domain of the many, where there's division, multiplicity, conflict, competition, the marketplace. Like in Neiros HaMikdash, unlike the Beis HaMikdash B'fnim, they're on the inside in the Reshus HaYochid, Mishom Hayidu L'chutz, if someone's looking, is tired of the conflict and wants and looking for serenity, so they'll come to the Beis HaMikdash. They'll come to the inside, but they're not going to find it where they are. But Neiros Chanukah will reveal that oneness where they are. Neiros Chanukah Meretz HaCheshech Reshus Harabim. This that Neiros Chanukah can illuminate even the Reshus Harabim. U'ba'ofen shu atzmai nimtze gam b'Reshus Harabim. It's because Neiros Chanukah goes there. It's the etzem, and the Reshus Harabim. True, that's not. Sorry, not goes there. The Reshus Harabim. What's the etzem? The Reshus Harabim is Pnim Yisatik. It's a likus. He itself is present also there. It's not going there. That's the point. On the contrary, the Neiros Chanukah are placed there because that's where it is. That's the place of Neiros Chanukah, meaning everywhere. There's no outside. That's why the time is dafka when the sun sets. Because this that the Neiros Chanukah illuminate the darkness of light. It's not ba'ofen she'ikri she'loyer ba'yom. As Shaila was at the beginning of the Maimon, if the whole point is you should light it at night, so good, light it earlier in the day and give more oil. Light it by day. No, that would miss the point. If you're lighting by day, so you're saying that this is a gili that belongs in day, and its reach will be to the darkness. This is not the case. It's revealing the oil in the cheshech. Loi ba'efon she'ikra sha'aloyda ba'yoyim. The ikra is by day like the Beis Mikdash. Ale she'nimshuch ha'meir gam ba'layla, but it also extends into the night. No. Ale she'gam bizman ha'cheshech yesh lo'ir atzmai. No. The time, the zman of the mitzvah is in the time of cheshech, that there is megala the oir. Moreover, they showed that it's Chanukah gam b'makim bizman ha'cheshech. So not only is it present, but now the conclusion of that, I kind of spelled it out already, but the conclusion of it being present there is it's gilui. That the the light of the Chanukah is in this place in time of Cheshech, and then a Cheshech atzmai nepach la'or. Darkness becomes revealed into light. In other words, it's experienced that the tzimtzum is as much you as the gilui is you. It's all you. The cheshech is the tzimtzum. Clear? Ha-cheshech atzmayo. It's a pasuk. Until him, v'layla kayom yoir. That explains also the. Just I'm going to ask you. You're going to answer the question. What is the pshat? Yoitzer of beire cheshech. You don't create darkness. Conventionally, darkness is the absence of light. What's beire cheshech? But the cheshech is the tzimtzum. The tzimtzum is a pa'ula. The tzimtzum is the koyach hagvul that produces, eclipses the light, and taka produces the darkness. But it's a bria. It's taka bria. So the whole vart is yoytze oir uveire cheshech, both in the tziras oir and the bria tzimtzum. It's all you. You dalit. Yeah, it's almost, finish the maamar. This will explain also the reason, I think he's addressing a question. Yeah, the question was, it was Mesiras Nefesh on Purim also. So why does only Chanukah elicit Neiros Chanukah? This ness, this kind of ness, in light of the above, we have the answer. The gilui of Pneumius Atik was dafka thematis yo bonov v'loya demetemish the Purim, and unlike Purim, why not? Can be said establish the matis bonov haisa. The establish of the time of Chanukah was shegam shoyu chaloshim. They were weak umatim and few mikomokim. Nonetheless, lachamu neged giberim v'rabim. They fought against powerful, more powerful, and greater numbers. So even on the one hand, what are they doing? They're fighting. So why are you doing this? To be victorious over them. Even though even though by all natural law, there's no place for this, that weaker and fewer should vanquish more powerful and more numerous, and we're talking huge numbers here. So why are you doing this? It's completely hepech haseichel. Because it was upgelegt. How could you do this? In other words, he's asking like this. L'chayr is asking, what's the point of fighting? If you're going to rely on God to save, just rely on God to save. There's no way. This is futile. It's a futile, absolutely futile attempt. So what's the point? Where did they answer? Because how did they view the world? It was set literally. This is upgelegt. You just have to translate it in English. Upgelegt means it's an attitude. It's an attitude that is just a given. Shagam teva. Of this, the nature. What is the nature? What's the nature? In brackets, square brackets. For this world, Chaklipas given by Clippers have the upper hand. From Lashon Natanya, and even if they're not just having the upper hand, but they are mighty and many. But what's the emphasis of Holikus? Holikus. It's all an expression of godliness. So we'll just unlock it. We'll reveal that truth, the truth that's already there. That's the whole point. If we have to bring it to them, they're stronger and bigger than you. But if that truth is there, because and that is the only and ultimate truth, then why not? There was no hesitation. This attitude is from the sense. It has to be a sense because we still can't lose self. So it's a sense. That the truth of his being, blessed be he, that's the reality of all that exists. And that's why Dafke, they're mamshech pnimisatik, which we don't see that in Purim. Purim, they're ready to die rather than give up their Jewishness. But they weren't confronting and challenging the world. You're a likus. As I was saying on Shabbos, this is such a critical message for us now. All this talk, anti-Semitism, and the Albanese government, and the Bereishis bara Elokim, it's the Eibishter's world. You be authentically Jewish and vanish nispal, and they would not just crumble, but you reveal godliness in them. That's the way to go. Is Neiros Chanukah, Oir, Pnimius Atik, means I am a Yid. It's the Etzem. And that should be expressed in everything. Just a crazy story. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but it is illustrative. A shliach, a guy Pearlstein in California. You saw this was on the internet. Let's see, well, a skinhead, a die-in-the-heart skinhead in prison for, not being Mr. Nice Guy. And he's the chaplain of the prison. And his thing is, he's there for the Jewish prisoners mainly. But nonetheless, he would say hello or just, they had some kind of program, he was there. And over months, it turned the guy around completely. You look at his face, he looks like he was just being authentically Jewish, Chassid, and won him over. Neo-Nazi. And that's also the reason that what's the time frame? The time frame that you can light the menorah is till there are people walking the street. Now, how's that defined? The Gemara says that the Kal Yerig the Talmudoi, until the feet of this Talmudoi, there's all kinds of opinions who they were. It's a place or not a place. At any rate, they were the lower echelons of society. There's our opinions not even Jewish. It came from a place called Talmud, and they were sold the wood for firewood and for light. And when they were no longer walking the streets, that nobody was there. Everybody was home and they needed firewood. So until these people are still walking the street, you light your menorah. After that, there's no Pesum in this. So what's the Inyan? Talmudoi, the word Talmudoi, which is either a place or defines them or both, is the Oishis HaMordim B'Malchus Shemayim. Rebels, they rebel against the yoke of heaven. Talmud Oishis Meredes, the word Talmud rearranges the word Meredes. The Sefer, Kabbalah Sefer, Emek HaMelech, and it's hinted also in, here it is, yeah. This is one of the Mekoides. In Nigla, Kihoy Avdei Shloimeh, they were the servants of Shloimeh, non-Jewish. Shemordubai, that rebelled, looks like they were originally Jewish. They rebelled and they got mixed up, assimilated Beinat Tarmudim, which is a place, I don't know where that is. They assimilated. V'merida b'shloimeh, and they rebelled. Sheyasev al kisi Hashem, who sat on the throne of God. And what's that? His throne is a reflection of Malchus Shemayim. So you light the menorah until their feet have finished. They're no longer walking. We're consuming, like Kleis Nefesh, consuming. Rigla, the lowest level of the Talmudoi. Shnei Purushim is two Purushim, loading together ahead. Number one, Chanukah Machalim Bavatal Esrig the Talmudoi. So here the two perushim. In kiloy, one is to consume, destroy. So we destroy their legs, we destroy even their lowest level of their rebellion. And the second pirush is kiloyin, as in consuming them, elevating them. Kles nefesh. Coming absorbed. What's absorbed in likus? Even even the lowest level. Even those that rebel are this open longing and for likus. Kles nefesh, desire for likus to be one, totally one with Hashem. The transformation of the lowest level of Helem to Kles nefesh. Kal yerigla de tamidoi. V'zeh ilu shel abiru shadei gil nerchanek abiru shadei gilu shebei meshlem. And that's the virtue of the bitter of Ner Chanukah over the night of the Mikdash. B'meishleimin is barer rakanitzut shoyem b'hamezin shaloyim. He affected only those sparks that were not darkened to the extent that they were not responsive. They're looking. There's still a search there. You could see some light, and not the sparks that have become darkened. Because and certainly darkened is one thing, but then there's rebellion is another thing. So he certainly didn't affect Isis Meredith. On the contrary, they became that during his tenure, during his leadership, his monarchy. That's when they became the Moirdim, as you brought in the Ha'ara before. Oh, Ha'ara 81 is saying that. It was then, like I said, Ha'ara 78. That's when they rebelled. These people assimilated and rebelled. These people actually contributed in the end to the destruction of the second Beis Hamikdash. That's how deep the rebellion is, the opposition. So he didn't affect that. On the contrary, he kind of gave rise to it. But Ner Chanukah does affect the transformation. Even the lowest levels of the Talmudoi of the rebellion. Now concluding now. Afotes Amayones, Chassidus, the Shemen of Torah, the essence. Bechlal, Mayim is Nigle, Yayin is Kabbalah, and Shemen is Chassidus. With respect to our shlichus to spread the well springs that he said before. Remember yesterday's shir, not only the Mayim Chayim, there's three kinds of mikveh. There's mikveh, there's Mayim Chayim, and there's the Mayin, and that corresponds to Chassid, Yosher, and Tzaddik. So Mayim Chayim B'Shleima Melech. It comes from the Mayim, but it's not the Mayin itself. But Ner Chanukah and Gil Chassidus, that's the Mayin. We explained yesterday that the Mayin, Sof Kol Sof, that's the Rebbe. The Neiros Chanukah, the Shiva Neiros is the Neshama. The Gili of the Neshama, the Yechida of every year, all seven. And it's all beaten out of one Miksha Zov. It's all beaten out of one solid goal. That's the Neshama Klolis, in which all the Neshamas, the branches extend. So the Mayin Mamish is being Mefitz the Rebbe in the world. You don't have to be Mefitz, the world is seeking him. And it's happening, it's exploding. I mean, you see it everywhere. There was an article I saw that I should pin this, send it. After Sydney, after Bondi Beach. Thank you, Rebbe, thank you, Chabad. And she writes, you taught us all, Rebbe, you taught us how to respond. Vigils are nice, but that's not the response. The response is to Mefitz more oir. The whole world is picking this up. They're all saying this language. New South Wales government launched a campaign. It's called Add a Mitzvah on their website. Defines what mitzvah is. Submit your name. What are you doing? We want to make a whole like a electronic book, a record This is anything more than this. He said last year, Eli Schlager, last year, the Chanukah menorah lighting, he said, next year was a big crowd and beautiful. Next year, the whole world will know about Sydney's Chanukah lighting. That's what he said. I was heard at the Fabrengen last. I won't actually hear him say it. I saw the headline, but I didn't listen to it. I won't actually now listen. It just came out of his mouth like this. Think you knew what he was saying? And this is mamash kalye rigle the Talmud doi. They are promoting to a mitzvah. And this is, if we fight with light, the Rebbe is oisis mamash. Let's conclude. So this is also with respect to spreading the Mayan. Again, not the Mayim Chayim and not the collected pure water, but that's the mikveh, but the Mayan itself. Even those that are outside in the lowest way, the greatest descent, to the extent of open opposition and rebellion, Hashem preserve us. So when you bring the Mayan, you got to bring the Mayan. You got to reveal the Mayan because the Mayan is there. So the whole entity of rebellion becomes bottled, which had before which defined them till now, for millennia. I feel the lowest level of the rebellion. The regular says the foot's the lowest level. If you say to him more than that, not that then there's a battle. More than that, but the longing and the desire to become one with Hashem is now what they want. And nothing else. And that's how it's going to be. Similar, he's saying it's now in Golos. Similar to Lasid Lavoi, number one, I'll remove the spirit of impurity from the world. That's bittul. That's his kafir. If you say to him, moreover, I will transform the nations. They all call upon the name of Hashem, and serve him with one consent. That is the transformation. Okay, tomorrow we'll do is we'll go just read the Teichen, and I think we should start Basi Lagani already. It's two Maimorim. Is it Chaim? Is any of them Moga? This year's Basi Lagani's? Huh? Well, let's have a look over here.
No, the Chavav is not.
Oh, it's long. I see Yud is not Muga, not Tafshin Chavav. No. So Tafshin Chavav is not. What about Tafshin Memvav? Frankly, it's easier. It's not Muga than what easier. Okay, Afreilichen Isra Chag Chanukah. You know what? Somebody you saw the clip of this Charedische Vishnitzer Belzer guy. I think he's asking about Chanukah. How come we don't have? What was it? This Kislev, same Nakuda. You don't have in Goyla. You have an extra day. I think Yitis Kislev. Yitis Kislev. Why is an extra day Yitis Kislev? Sveika de Yoima. So he answered. Why do you Sveika de Yoima? Because till the Shluchim from Yerushalayim get to tell the distant places where Yom Tov was, they have to keep 2 days. But Lubavitch, the Shluchim are everywhere. Mm. They're there. So you don't need, there's no Sveika, there's no doubts. There's no Sveikis in Lubavitch. The Shluchim are everywhere. The Mayonis, The Mayonis, the Mayan is everywhere. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Psudas Tevis Mashiach now.